You were never lazy. Let's start there, before you take another breath soaked in shame, before you scroll past another rise and grind clip that makes you feel like a failure. Let's stop. Let's talk. Because what they called lazy was you surviving. Plain and simple. You were overwhelmed, burned out, or frozen in a storm of fear, anxiety, or self-doubt so thick even standing felt impossible. And still, you were hard on yourself. Still, you whispered, "Why can't I just do it?" But here's the truth. You weren't lazy. You were stuck in a system that rewards burnout and calls it ambition. You were trapped in a loop where every step forward felt like sprinting in wet cement. You weren't weak. You were weighed down. Laziness isn't the absence of willpower. It's the presence of pain. Maybe it was fear. Fear of failing. Fear of starting. Fear of what people would think if you tried and it still wasn't enough. Maybe it was grief, or trauma, or a body that just couldn't anymore. Your mind wasn't broken. It was protecting you. You weren't lazy. You were adapting. You learned how to keep going, even when your tank was empty. You learned how to smile through the static, to nod through the noise, to pretend everything was fine when nothing was. That's not lazy. That's survival. And yeah, maybe the dishes piled up. Maybe the texts went unanswered. Maybe the kids needed you more, the family, the partner. Maybe the dream sat untouched on your desktop for months. That's okay. None of that makes you lazy. It makes you human. So what if today, instead of punishing yourself for yesterday's silence, you praised yourself for still being here? What if you treated yourself like someone worth saving, not scolding? Because let me tell you something most people won't. Starting is harder when you've failed before. Starting is harder when you think you don't deserve to succeed. And starting is damn near impossible when the world only celebrates outcomes, not effort. But effort counts. Tiny steps count. Micro goals count, and they work. Getting out of bed counts. Taking a breath counts. Listening to this counts. And if you're here right now, you're not lazy. You're trying. And trying is everything. There's a little man inside every one of us, and his job is to keep us from creating. He wants you to do the dishes, make a cup of coffee, call an old friend, take a nap. He is immensely powerful, but he is also immensely beatable. He is vulnerable. So, what do we do now? We let go of the guilt. We stop calling it laziness. We stop calling you lazy. We name what's real. You were tired. You were overwhelmed. You were in pain, and you did your best. But now you know better. Now you get to try differently, not with shame, but with grace. This time, you get to rebuild with compassion. You get to create a new story, one small step at a time. You get to beat the little man inside you, telling you you can't do it. And no, it won't be perfect, but it will be honest and real and yours. Because you're not the failure. You're not the weak link. You're the foundation, the start, the spark. They told you to push harder. But I'm telling you, push kinder. You were never lazy. You were surviving a world that rarely slows down long enough to see you. Now it's your turn to see you, to show up for yourself. Not because you hate who you've been, but because you're ready to become who you truly are. You are not lazy, you are healing. And healing takes time. Now go light that fire. And take the first step, even if it's small, even if it's shaky. You were never lazy. You were just waiting for someone to say this. If this spoke to you, you're not alone. We're all building something out of broken pieces. But the fire inside you, it still burns. So light the match. Start again. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like and comment. What have you mistaken for laziness? Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's continue the journey together in the next video. See you there, friends. Cold fire theory. Pain is the match. Discipline is the fire.